Welcome back to the realm of inspiration, to the series Cosmically Inspired. In today's video, we are going to be doing a channeling all about space, how to protect your space, the space Elfian Elementals of the cosmos. Just want to talk about the energy of space. When you hear elementals of space, or at least when I heard it, I thought it just meant like outer space, but it means like the energetic space. So they work a lot with the ley lines dividing different energy spaces, the space in between planetary energies, kind of really everything to do with space and the energy in between it. That's my understanding of it, but I'm sure they'll do a way better job of explaining what they do and who they are. So let's see which space Elfian Elemental is going to elect themselves to be the representative to step forth today. Very interesting. This Elfian Elemental has a almost like complete balance between the divine feminine and the divine masculine energy. This elf is saying that they are one of the oldest space elementals and are going to explain the evolution of space and how it relates to us in the physical and also the metaphysical, as well as just general things about energy and protecting your energetic space. They are saying you have two different spaces. You have your energetic space outside of you and your energetic space within you. So there's going to be discussion about both of those. So let me just let them come through and talk about it. This is very exciting. They told me to have this morganite egg and this selenite stick close by, so hopefully they're in the right spaces for the elf to do their thing. So let's get started. Hello, I am a space Elfian elemental, and our communicator was right. I do have a balance between the divine feminine and the divine masculine. This is very fitting because the last time our communicator did a full channeling like this, it was about the divine masculine and the divine feminine. It was about balancing that. So now it is important in the journey for you all to learn about space before you can learn about the maternal and the paternal. Because there is the space in between. The polarity, the space in between the yin and the yang, the space in between things, and that importance. So there's a lot of backstory, and hopefully my time frequency elemental friends will grant me the perfect amount of time to fully explain this in a way that makes sense to you all. I have been elected to come forth because it is said that I am best to articulate this out of all the Cosmic Elfian Elementals in the Elfian Realm. So I'm going to use this morganite egg right here to explain. This is you. Yes, this is you, or this is the earth. When you are suffocated by negative energy, you can't see the light. Your space, your energetic space, is trapped. It's suffocated. You slowly start to break away from ego control, from negativity, and then you expand out of the suffocation, and you're free to see the light. But what happens in the in-between, when you're still finding your spiritual space, finding your positive space outside of the limitations of the physical form's negative polarity? What happens when you're in the in-between? A lot of you are in the in-between right now. That's why I'm discussing this first. You're in this in-between state where you've broken free from your shell, you've broken free from a lot of the limitations, but there's still a weight on you. So how do you remove that weight? Well, you identify what is yours and what is not yours. And let me give you a little secret, collective all. Your soul owns light and love. Your soul does not own negativity. So it's just affirming these negative emotions and these negative things are not welcome in my space because they are not mine. And then you as an individual can start to free yourself from those traps. Because a lot of you all experience the feeling of feeling trapped, like you're trapped inside something. That is because your internal space is corrupted. Your internal space is full of cords and negative energy and fear and anxiety and trauma and anger and jealousy and greed and egotistical desires and the 3D and the negative polarity. Your own space. You are picking up all of these things from the outside and bringing it into your personal bubble. And I hear the communicator laugh right now because when you all are children, you learn about personal bubble, personal space, right? Give each other personal space because you do have an energetic bubble. That's your aura, right? So it is important for you all to understand that when you're feeling trapped, when you're feeling physically trapped, your internal energetic space is being filled with things that are unnecessary. Well, then also your space, your home, yes, can also be entrapped and cluttered with things. And so if your energetic space within you is cluttered with things and your external space, your home space is cluttered with things energetically and physically, that pollution causes a suffocating feeling. It's important for you all to know right now that the home that you live in, you take it with you wherever you go. It is your space. So when you are deeply connected to one physical location like that, the energy of your home comes with you where you go. So if you have a very toxic environment at home, you tend to carry it with you until you resolve what's going on in the external and internal spaces around you. You are carrying that energy with you. So if there's a disbalance within you, your home may feel a disbalance. There is a connection between you and your home because your home becomes the external space around you. Your external space around you, yes, it does, include the town that you live in and all the time when you're traveling and driving and going wherever and staying in spaces. Yes, but what you experience when you're not in your home base from those external space energies, it just comes and affects your internal directly, and it's not something that you will carry with you as an outside part of you. You'll carry it with you as if it is you. Your home space you carry with you as an outside part of you, if that makes sense. I'm trying my best to articulate my first time communicating with the collective all, but what I mean is, your workspace, if you don't make, because a lot of people will make their workspace like a second home, and then they're carrying it with them in their external space aura, and then they're always carrying it with them, and then they're carrying it with them to home, and then there is no balance because everything is interwoven as one. And it's important not to make your work space your home. That's why in your home, if you want to have a space dedicated to work, keep that space dedicated to work and don't take the work outside of it and invade another space. It's very important because the energy of what you give to a specific space affects how that space's energy works and relates to you in your own home. But back to the external outside of your home, because you have your personal space, then your home space, and then there's the external of your home, and that's everything else around you. And that everything else around you, you have no control over, but you can absorb it. Your home space, you have control over because it's your home. Yes, so it becomes an extension of you because it's something you have control over your body, you have control over your home. Yes, so you don't have control of what's going on outside of the walls of your home. Yes, and sometimes your home will do things that you have no control over, but also sometimes your body may do things that it seems like you have no control over. But obviously that's a manifestation of some sort of imbalance. It's important for you to check into the chakras of your home space to see if you're letting things invade. Are you taking your work computer and sitting on your bed and invading your sleeping space with work? Ooh. That triggered a heart chakra somewhere. It did. Because a lot of humans do that. because there is the sloth energy of not wanting to get up and move somewhere else. So if you have a relaxed space, it's a relaxed space. You have a workspace, it's a workspace. You have an eating space, it's an eating space, because it's all energy. And if you start in your own home creating an invasion in all of your spaces to there is no balance, there is no separation, then that causes you to start to feel it internally. That's why if you go, let me back to another point, and this is kind of jimbled everywhere, so take the messages as your will. There's no rhyme, rhythm, or reason for what I'm communicating at what time. I don't have a script. When you are in the outside world, when you pick up all of these external things and you start absorbing and internalizing it as your own and taking it with you home, then that's an invasion in your home space as well. That's why it's very necessary to have a sort of cleansing, shaking off. See, cleansing, shaking off. There are things resonating within people. I can feel it. I can feel it. I can feel it. So a cleansing, shaking off before you even enter the doors of your home, of all the things that you've been taking with you from the outside. So let's talk about this space in your mental body, because there's a ego. No, thank you, ego. There's an ego of our communicator wanting to invade the channeling space within her mind. And that happens a lot with you all as well. Your highest self, your connection space, your spiritual awareness, your authentic mind. Sometimes the ego wants to invade it, to cause disbalance, to have balance and structure within your life and clarity of things. You have to remove the interwovenness of interweaving everything into everything and sitting and eating on the couch and watching TV and this and that and not being in the present moment. To have a space, to have your home base and a space within yourself that is in alignment with authenticity and truth and in alignment with light and love, you have to allow yourself to have present moment awareness, because that's a way that the egoic mind causes an invasion in your personal space, your soul's personal space. Your soul wants to enjoy every moment. You have to let it. Now, talking about protecting your internal space, it is important to have protection set up, because when you go out into the external world, into the spaces all around that you have absolutely no control of anything going on except you and your reactions and what you absorb and what you don't absorb, just say, it is not mine. It is not mine. When you are outside in the world and you feel yourself picking up on things, it is not mine, is the best affirmation to say. Yes? Yes. Now, I did want to talk about the evolution of space. Our system started as one singular thing. And as it expanded and it grew in space. And then there were energetic meeting places of every realm that was their own, and no other realm would invade those locations. I have a point, trust me. Then, when the earth was created, all realms and all beings and light, love, and darkness as well came to the earth. The earth is full of different things coming in that was not originally the earth's. Different things beyond the veil, different beings that are not from the earth's space. The earth is the perfect place to learn, because it is one of the only spaces where invasion is welcomed. And it's not called invasion, it's just called connection. Because when you're not in the physical realm, when you're in the metaphysical, when you're in the non-physical, and you're on your star origins, you just stay on your star origins. There isn't as much traveling and connecting as there is when you're in the physical. When you're in the physical form, you get to astral project wherever you want to go in space. You can astral project to planets that you never visited when you were in the non-physical. Because when you're in the non-physical, you are observing and learning and processing everything that happened when you were in the physical and planning for the next lifetime, doing different tasks. Sometimes you just get a break to hang out and reconnect. Hang out and reconnect with your soul tribe that you didn't get to see when you were in the physical. You have so many opportunities when you're in the physical form to do things in the non-physical. So many opportunities. So it is important to protect your sleeping space so you can take advantage of those opportunities. Protect your mind space is the biggest one, because your mind space is what allows you to either astral project or not. Yes? So, having rituals set into place and structured spaces to do specific light working things and specific human things, and don't let them invade. You need to have the balance so that you can be in the present moment. Because if you're in a space and you feel like you can never be in the present moment and you always have to be doing something else, it's because you haven't allowed that space to be what it was designed to be. It's important for you to understand that the external space around you, the space that isn't your home, you can't really control what's going on out there. Don't try and control it. Just control yourself. It's all you gotta worry about. When space kept expanding and growing with new beings being born, there was a respect. All realms have a respect of each other and have communication with each other of when they're allowed to step into each other's spaces and when they're not. And so those boundaries are so important to have in your own home. Okay, every now and again, I might allow spiritual work to be done in my resting space, because when I sleep at night, I do spiritual work. So it is technically not an intrusion. But there's also the boundaries with you and other people. Because a lot of you have the people pleasing, yes, where you don't have boundaries with each other. And you let each other invade each other's spaces all the time. With all different sorts of ways of invasion. You let each other invade each other's sacral chakras all the time, and you wonder why you feel disbalanced and you lack creativity or you can't focus on anything, because you pick up what's in the external. Because you're sponges. So if there isn't any boundaries and you're letting everybody come around you that may not necessarily be good to have around you, then you are sponging things and taking them home with you. Taking them to bed with you. And then you feel a disbalance. Your personal space in relationships with others is so important. There needs to be boundaries with each other. Because in the non-physical, you can see everything clearly. But in the physical, there are a lot of masks and a lot of false faces. And you never know what is masquerading around you. So you need to trust that intuition. And don't just think, well, they're saying all the right things. My intuition is telling me to just let them in and let everything in and just have every wall down. But mental body space. See, the egoic energy of our communicator is wanting to invade the conversation right now. Invade the space. No. If your intuition is telling you not to let someone into your personal space, but your egoic mind is saying, well, they're saying and doing all the right things, so I'm going to let it anyway. You aren't being a good friend to you because you are allowing your space to be disrupted. Protect it. Protect it, protect it. It's very, very, very necessary right now to to pay attention to that. Because you all are searching for connections with each other, but you don't want to just have a million different connections because you're too afraid to be alone. You want to have the right connections that are meant for you, that'll make you feel fulfilled. Because if you have a million different connections and you still feel alone, then are those connections the right ones for you, or are they messing with your energetic space within you? That's why it's so important to protect the energetic space within you, because you never know what is influencing you that is not yours. Okay? So how can you protect your energetic space within you, and then your home space, and then what do you do when you're out in the world, and all these so many different questions. Here's what you do. You start with your home space. Start with the home space, because you're not going to be able to fully figure out what's going on in your internal space until you deal with the home space. So, go in your home, look at the rooms, look at the spaces, identify how many times do I just do a million different things in a space and never live in the present moment there. Cleanse it, change the storyline. Look at the ley lines of the space and say, I'm gonna start over, and rip them up, burn them, reconstitute them into the light, and start over. Completely start over. You can move physical things around. You don't necessarily have to move things around. Just start over. Say, I'm removing these ley lines and I'm starting over. I'm cleansing all these old imprints. I'm starting over. And then start over. And then those boundaries that you're setting in your home, have that with yourself. Okay, I am going to keep this space dedicated to what it is meant to be for. And I'm not going to let slothiness ruin that. Do that. Create that structure within your home. And then practice living in the present moment within your home. And this is going to pattern it, because then you take it with you into the real world. And then you can start living in the present moment in the real world, because that's what you do at home. But if at home you can never focus on anything, one thing at a time, then when you go out into the real world, you're never going to be able to focus, because you take it with you. Because it becomes a part of the space orbiting around you. Yes? Yes. Do that. You have a car? Do the same thing in your car. Same thing. Do you sit and write essays and eat dinner in your car and do all these million different things in your car when your car is meant for transportation? Fix it, because then you have your car in your garage, you have your car on your property. These are different things influencing you. So look at those physical spaces, your home and your car. Fix the energy within them. Set the boundaries within them. Practice present moment awareness, and then have a space dedicated for self-reflection, where you can start to look at each chakra and see, okay, what's going on here? It's important to start at the root up to the sacral and solar plexus, to go up that way. Really sit down with all the thoughts that you have, with all the habits, with all the chemical reactions that you have to things, with all the impulses and habits, and really identify, did I sponge this or did I not? And then have a separate space, particularly outside. Doing the releasing outside is good, because you're releasing it to the outside. You're not keeping it in your house, and you're not keeping it with you. And let it go. Then you can start to feel more harmony in your internal space. Then you can feel more harmony, because there is space in between your body systems. And if you want that space to be fully aligned and not there's a big gap here and there's a big gap there, you just want alignment with very minimal space in between the body systems because they're in perfect alignment, you have to keep doing that every single day. You want your chakras to be in perfect alignment with not a huge amount of space between your heart and your crown, because your crown is all the way over here and your heart's all the way over there. Practice it. It's present moment awareness, dear friends, dear humans. Present moment awareness helps you take control of your space. Now, I can list and I can tell you all the different protections that you can do, all the different this, and that, but I'm not going to. Because you know what works for you, right? So even the protections that you do, identify, is this a protection that works for me, or am I just parroting what somebody else does? Then you gain more control over your mental space. One thing I can tell you is do an anchoring. An anchoring with your guardian, God above, and an anchoring below with the earth, with Gaia. Do an anchoring with God and Gaia. Do a grounding with Gaia and a spiritual anchoring with God. And do a full circle aura protection with your guardian angels. That is all you really need to do. And you need to believe in yourself and your power. If you don't think about it, it doesn't exist in your energetic space. So if you don't walk into a space and you're not paranoid of all the million things, then it's not going to happen. But if you walk into a space and you're constantly giving life to something that did happen, or you think might happen, or you think might happen again, then it will. Because you're thinking about it. And you are the beings of life. You have the ability to manipulate space with your manifestation gifts to create life with your minds and your voices. Remember that power and use it for good. Do not let the voice of fear start using your gift to manifest what it wants, because what it wants is not for your highest good. Use your gift from your highest self place. There's so many different things with space, and I'm sure in the future with the communicator we can do more of talking about healing a space. We can do more with talking about ripping up ley lines. We can delve deeper to deeper specifics in the future. So if that is something collective all that you want to learn more about, send the request out to us, and us Cosmic Elfian Space Elementals will come your way, because you can change the energy of a space like that. You have the power. You have the resources. You don't know what resources to use? Ask yourself, highest self, what's going to help me do this? And that inspired spark within you will trigger, and you'll know what to do. You gotta gain control over your mind space and your home space, because you cannot control the outside world. So sitting and watching the news, or sitting and watching all these things going on that you have absolutely no control over, it's just going to cause stress to your emotional space. And that stress to your emotional space is going to cause a disbalance to you and your inner child, and we don't want that. Now, do we? It's also important to note that in time, and the time frequency elementals in the future will probably talk more about this with you all, but past, present, and future have their own space. To be able to manifest a future you want, you must let go of the past space, because then it's not taking up space. Live in the present moment. Have time to work on manifesting the future, but if you're constantly either living in the past or living in the future, then you can't really do anything in the present now, can you? There's different spaces. Don't let the past invade with the present and future, and don't let the future distract you from the present. And don't let the possibilities of the different possible realities drive you insane. Because so many of you humans have that tree of knowledge source where you're constantly thinking of all the different things that you could have done. And then that's causing you to live in so many parallel realities that you're not living in the space that you're meant to be living in, and you're living in a million different timelines. Let go. Let go of control. Live in the present reality that you are living in. Focus. To be able to even understand the bigger picture, you have to focus on the current picture to know which picture you're looking at, so you can see the bigger picture. Because if you're looking at, I'm looking at 5 pictures in the past, 5 pictures in the future, and no pictures in the present, then you're not going to be able to understand your path. To understand where you're going, you must understand where you are. And I'm going to leave it at that for now. And I'm sure you humans may have a lot of questions. So ask away. You can ask us. You can ask our communicator, and she will bring us to you. And you can just ask yourself. You can ask your Elfian Ascension guide. because the concept of space and what space is something that you understand within you. You just need a few little words here and there to remember, but the minute you remember, that inspired spark will tick, and you know exactly what you need to do. Because those initial thoughts that come to your mind when you hear a message of what you feel like you are meant to do is what you're meant to do in this present moment. Goodbye for now. Wow. Thank you much. I saw not much. I kind of saw more like what I need to do, but what's very interesting is that is the most times in a channeling that I've felt like negative energy trying to like come in and stop it. And I know that that's like an indication that those messages needed to come out. Because it was almost like the fight or flight response within my physical form was trying to jolt me back into my body, but the elf I was channeling was not going to let that happen, because it was their space to talk. It's very, very interesting. So yeah, please do let me know if you have any questions, and thank you, elves, for communicating that message and educating us more about space and just helping us remember what we already know. So with that, may the petals of the flower of inspiration lead you back to us again, sending you love, light, and inspiration. Stay inspired, beautiful souls.